University of Asia Pacific, my friends, the faculty of the university, and the students. Assalamu alaikum. Actually, I don't think I can add much to what already has been said. And the way Qayyum Reza went on, I was extremely embarrassed because we are family friends, we know each other for a very long time. GRC, I call it popularly GRC, I don't know if everybody knows, his name is Qayyum Reza Chaudhary. I have a lot of admiration for him. And he is also a very big asset to this country. His intelligence, integrity is without any controversy. Everybody knows it. That's why I do not know, I asked him before I came here, and how many committees are you? He said, I've lost track. So you are very blessed to have a great personality like GRC. You should be really proud. Sometimes I think I should steal him. Sometimes I think I should steal him for my university, East West. Anyway, it's a very difficult task to talk about yourself, which I don't like actually. I find it very embarrassing, but maybe I can show or throw some lights on how to become an entrepreneur. Whether you'll be a successful entrepreneur or not, it's up to you. But I'll start with my life. As Qayyum Reza, because he's a family friend, our family knows each other very well. I come from a family of lawyers. I think my nephew is 5th generation barrister. So, my grandfather was a barrister, my father was a barrister, my brothers were a barrister. They eventually said that I come from a family, we are middle class, come from a family of high thinking and plain living. Our atmosphere in the house was very interesting. We were all educated in English medium school, but it was the unwritten law of my father that the moment you enter the house, you have to speak in Bengali. You leave your English in the school. In the house, you have to talk to us in Bengali. And you have to read a Bengali newspaper. Our family are very strong Bengali nationalist. My family never believed in Jinna's two-nation theory. So they stayed back in India because he didn't believe in Pakistan. That's a different story. So having done my schooling and honors in economics from Calcutta St. Xavier's College, came back to Dhaka and did my MA in economics in 1964. I was a fairly good student in that I had a first class second in Dhaka University. So because of that, we had a fabulous, fantastic faculty. The head of the Department of Economics was Professor Nurul Islam, who, as you know, was the first head of the Planning Commission. Professor Rahman Suban, Central Policy Dialogue. I'm a trustee there because I was his favorite student, so that favoritism is there. So I was offered a lecturership in Dhaka University and a scholarship by Professor Nurul Islam, which I thought, yes, I will accept. Then suddenly he got transferred to Karachi by the government. He started the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, which now is BIDS. And obviously he wanted me to join there. But I didn't have the heart to tell him then I don't want to be an academician. I don't want to teach. I'm not an intellectual. Because I've seen enough of plain living and high thinking in my house. I wanted to do something mundane, something which makes money. Very shallow, but that's probably the backlash of the background that I come from. So I was looking around. How much time do I have?
As long as you want.
I don't want to bore you, but if you are bored, please raise your hand. I'll stop. And my family, of course, plain living, high thinking time. They said, no, you have to sit either for the law, be a lawyer. I said, I don't want to be a lawyer. There's no social life. I see you in the evenings, no friends, because I'm a great Addabaj. I love to sit and chat. And as I said, I'm not an intellectual. I love music, I love to go out. She said, okay, then sit for the competitive exam. So I had a fairly good results. And honors had a first class, MA had a first class. So I stood a pretty good chance. So I was studying in SMO. I was a student of SMO. And I was studying with my friends Farash Uddin, who was my Tawfiq Elahi Chaudhary, now is the advisor. The same notes for the competitive exam gets circulated in the hall. So we were all studying for that, for the competitive exam. And I think I would have got something nice. But my heart was not into it. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now when in my house, my third brother, who was a great intellectual, is founder of Communist Party. My eldest brother was a socialist. My second brother was an engineer in the 40s from Glasgow University. My third brother was a communist and a capitalist. And my third brother was, along with Comrade Muzaffar Ahmed, known as Banikdar, I don't know if you know. They are the founders of the Communist Party of India, pre-partition years. So there was a lot of Karl Marx and Marxism and Leninism in the house. It never appealed to me. I used to read books, the biography of you know who, G.R.D. Tata.
Yes.
G.R.D. Tata was my role model. You laugh. Probably your role model is Isha Chaudhary, Dashagor and all these people. But my role model was G.R.D. Tata. Now, my family was disgusted with me. They said, you're the black sheep of the family. You know why I eulogize G.R.D. Tata? Because of his CSR. He founded the Indian Academy of Sciences in Bangalore, pre-partition days. He put up a complete complex steel mill in 1880. But probably we were all tilling the soil. And he has done so many things. Tata Cancer Institute, Tata Management. That was my role model. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say, dear students, you must dream. You have to dream. That dream is very private. You should keep it within yourself. You want to discuss it with your good friends, fair enough. But you should nurture the dream. A person who doesn't dream is a very dull person, according to me. You can dream to be the best teacher. You can dream like JRC is the great engineer. Or you can dream as Qayyum Reza Chaudhary, also a very successful businessman and a great human being. So you can dream what you want to be. It's none of anybody's business, it's your business. And then, how do you achieve that dream? I'll be very blunt with you, very frank with you, is hard work. There's no shortcut. Please believe me, there's no such thing as quick money. If you have quick money, it goes quickly also. You must build it up slowly, steadily, with honesty. There is a limit that you should never cross. You should never adulterate food. You should never cheat a person. This is in our Quran. You should never cheat of anybody's even by giving wrong weights. So you must do business, but in an honest way. It's a very slow process. As I said, don't try to be a multi-millionaire overnight. It only happens in books. It doesn't happen in reality. You can be, but probably you'll go to jail also. I'm being very frank with you. So build it up. And you do it for your own satisfaction. Not because you want the name. Name will come automatically. The good will come automatically. And the good will come through your work. So as I said, it's the old saying, the success is 90% hard work, 10% luck. But I would say is 95% hard work. There will be many ups and downs, but you should bounce back. My company, I went Epic Tannery is the biggest tannery. I wouldn't say bankrupt, but we had serious financial trouble 3 times. And we bounced back. And it was a financial trouble because it's an export item. I signed a contract at a certain price, and then the price crashed, the price went up, and I had to deliver at a very high price, suffering a loss. But I kept to my commitment, which they remembered. So when the market crashed, they were with me. So when you sign anything, you must have that commitment. If you sign on the dotted line, please honor that commitment. That is very important. Now you say that, how did I achieve this? It's very easy to say that you start a business. Where's the money? As I told you, I come from a class of middle class. Judges don't make money. My father was a judge, my brother was a judge. But judges, it is a salaried job. He doesn't have lakhs and lakhs of taka to give to me. And anyway, he didn't believe in business. My eldest brother who brought me up, because my father died when I was only 5, he thought all businessmen are crooks. All you business people are crooks. You adulterate food, you evade tax, you evade sales tax, you evade VAT. He doesn't want to talk to a businessman. That kind of person he is. Now, as I said, coming back, when Professor Nurul Islam said, okay, get ready, we are going to Karachi, the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics. This is again fate. I met somebody, a good family friend, Humayun Khan Pandi, the Pandi family of Korotia. And through him, I got a job in Pakistan Tobacco, as Karim was said. It was very, very strange interview. First question, it was all Englishmen. The chairman was English. It's completely 100% British company. There was not a single Pakistani on the board. And the board interviewed me in Karachi. And the first question they said, are you experienced? I said, no. Have you worked somewhere else? I said, no. Your first job? I said, my first job and my first application. He said, if you have experience, we won't take you. Because we want management trainees or management professionals. How old are you? I said, 22. He said, if you're 23, we don't take you. I said, no, no. And then said, when can you join? I looked at him and said, sir, he said, when can you join? We're offering you a job. I said, that's it? He said, we just look at 3 things. You didn't have experience, your father was a very well-known person, and you had a good schooling, that's it. I said, but I have a very MA degree. He said, we're not interested in MA degree. We're interested in school. Why he said it, I don't know. That's a different story, that's a different issue, and maybe a different way of thinking. Anyway, I joined. My professor, Professor Noor, was hopping mad. He said, are you crazy? You joined Pakistan Tobacco? I'm offering you in Pakistan Institute of Development Economics. I guarantee, because he was MA Harvard, PhD Harvard. He said, I know everybody in Harvard University. Professor Anisul Rahman was Harvard. Rahman Sawan was Cambridge. And this is the faculty of Dhaka University those days. He said, you can go to Harvard to do your PhD and you want to do Pakistan Tobacco? I said, I need money. So here, in the interview, as I was coming out, he said, 1 minute. What sort of salary are you looking for? Now, those days, in 60s, it was 3 rupees 50 paise, 4 rupees to $1. I'm talking of 62, 63, yeah? 4 rupees to $1. And the CSP, Civil Service of Pakistan, the top job, government job, the starting salary was 400 rupees. Most of the jobs were 400-500 rupees. It's a lot of money those days. You could buy a brand new Toyota car for 11,000 rupees. 11,000 rupees, brand new. So I started scratching my head, because I've never appeared for an interview. So I started my middle class way of thinking that government service, if you're CSP, you're an SDO, Deputy Commissioner of Power position. This is Pakistan Tobacco, who's bothered? Yeah. So anyway, it's a company job. So I said, let me ask for 1,000. Then I started thinking 1,000 is too much, maybe they'll reject me. I said, sir, 900 is okay. So they all started smiling. I thought I was too greedy. So I said, sir, 600 will be okay. So then they burst out laughing. He said, lad, the chairman, he was a Scottish, everybody's a lad. Lad, we would like to offer you, but we can't, because our starting salary is 1,900. Would you like that? I said, very much. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I joined Pakistan Tobacco, but as I said, my heart was not into it. They sent me to England, I was trained in England, came back. I had 4 promotions in 5 years. And before I was 30, I was a senior manager. In Pakistan, I was earning 6-figure salary. Everything was paid for, including electric bulb, everything. Just your salary was your saving. Even the grocery bill used to be paid by the company. So it was a golden cage. Then the War of Liberation started, and for some political reason, I couldn't stay in the country. I had to flee the country. That's another story I don't want to bore you with. And so I went to the company and I said, look, I'm not feeling secure. I want to cross the border, go into India. They were shocked because they had invested a lot of money in me. They said, what will you do in India? I said, I don't know, but I don't want to stay here. And they said, okay, we transfer you to England. If you're feeling insecure, we transfer you to our head office in London. So I got transferred to London. Fortunately, everybody was in the camp in India. I was one of the very fortunate few who got transferred to London. So during the whole of Liberation War, I was in London on the condition that I come back straight away after Liberation. So Liberation took place, as you know, 16th December. They gave me a ticket on 19th December, go back. So 19th December 1971, 20th December, I was here. And then, I started working. But life was very tough in 1971-72 because the Pakistan army had destroyed everything. The bridges, the culverts, you remember. Nothing was left. In the Bangladesh Bank, which was a branch office, they had left only 600 some odd dollars. So Bangladesh started with 600 some odd dollars. That's what Bangladesh started. Of course, United Nations came in UNRWA, you remember? That's a different story. And then, this is the important part. The Chittagong port was blocked because the Indian Air Force had bombed the port. Am I boring you, gentlemen? If you bore me, please tell me. Because I'm an old man, I like to talk too much. You're garrulous. And the Chittagong port was bombed. So the ships were sunk. Why? Because they didn't want, the Indian Air Force didn't want that the reinforcements should come from Karachi to Chittagong. There was a war going on. So we couldn't export anything through the sea. You remember? It was only by air. Then this is also luck. As I said, 10% luck. I met a Frenchman, as Qayyum was saying, in a party around middle of 72, June, July 72. And we liked each other. And he said, what do you do? I said, I work in a company. He said, would you like to join me? I said, what do you do? He said, I buy leather and I sell chemicals. He's a Frenchman. I said, how do you buy leather? What do you do? He said, I take it to France. I said, how will you take it to France? The port is closed. He said, I chartered a plane and I take it by air. Very impressive. He said, the plane, I filled up the plane with chemicals, tanning chemicals, bring it to Dhaka, sell it. With that money, I buy leather and take it, and I make a profit both ways. So this is business. So I said, how do I fit in? He says, a cargo, and there is a jump seat. It's not a proper seat, you know. So, and twice a week, go in Paris, Dhaka, I'm fed up. So, if you join me, you can do this. Paris, it's Paris. I'd be just doing it for my training, but I didn't see Paris. I was, 28, 29 years old. And I already had my 2 children. My son at that time was 2 years old, my daughter was 1 year old. And so I said, yes, very interesting. Paris, anybody would be interested. So I came back, told my family, you're out of your mind. Some Frenchman you meet and he's offering a job, some leather business, what do you do with leather, and you're going to lose a Pakistan tobacco job, Bangladesh tobacco job, you must be crazy. My brother said, if you do that, we'll Tacho Putra Korpana, Tacho Bhai Korpana. We don't have to see you. You brought disgrace to the family. How can you be a businessman? I said, but it's entrepreneur. Rakho tomar entrepreneurship. This is Bengali mentality. job, secure job. Such a fantastic job. You keep ব্যবসা করো, ব্যবসা কি বোঝো? ব্যবসার ব বোঝো, ব্যবসা করো। But my father-in-law, he was Dr. Mofisur. At that time, he was in the cabinet with Bangabandhu. And Dr. Mofisur is Minister for Power. He encouraged me. My wife wouldn't even talk to me. She said, forget about it. We have a 2-year-old boy, 1-year-old girl, and you want to leave this golden cage for a business you don't know anything. You must be crazy. I won't let you do that. Everything is paid for by the company. Even the education will be paid for by the company. You must be mad. I don't know, I want to do it. I hate doing costing work. I was in finance, costing work, cigarette dam, capstan dam, gold leaf dam. It is boring, absolutely. There's no challenge. You go to office at 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock you come back, you go and have a cup of tea in the garden, go to some evening cocktail party, come back. I mean, it's like life. Very dull life. There's no challenge because everything, because being a multinational company, everything is structured. You have to follow because they have companies in about 100 countries. So everything is structured. I said, no, I want to do it. And I resigned on my 30th birthday, 26 September 1972. The company was shocked. He said, we have invested a fortune in you. We've given you 4 promotions in 7 years or 6 years. And you want to resign? We don't accept your resignation. We give you leave without pay, of course, for 1 year. If you fail in your business, you come back. I must say it's very nice of you. You fail, I'm sure you'll fail. And then I was going up and down. That is, but after some time it wears off. The charm. Then, 1955. And there were many ups and downs. The lessons that I've learned, dear students, please remember. Commitment. If you sign a contract for anything, you must honor it. Number one. Number two, your best friend is not somebody you know. Your best friend is the big bank. You have a support of the bank, you will succeed. You don't have a support of the bank, you will never succeed. So how do you have the support of the bank? You keep your commitments, you never default. You must repay your loans on time. This is absolutely essential. If you lose the confidence of your bank, you've had it. Many people think that by defaulting they can get away. It's short term. Today or tomorrow. So if you do that, the bank's MD will come to you. You don't have to go to the bank's MD. So commitment, bank is your best friend because There's a thing called, as you know, you're a student of business administration, debt equity. The debt has to come from the bank. Suppose you want to start a company and the total project cost is $100,000. Nobody has $100,000. You can raise $20,000, $30,000. The balance is to come from the bank. And you can do this by earning the confidence of the bank. And the confidence of the bank only comes through keeping your commitments. That's very important. Third is hard work. Please believe me. I did not see my children grow up. I did not see my son grow up. I did not see my daughter grow up. I was averaging 14 to 16 hours of work when we started the Tannery. They were literally brought up by my wife. Fortunately, she was in the education system. She had started a school, so she was taking them. So there's literally your family life gets affected. If you think that you want to do doshta pasta, hey, doshta pasta kore apni the ব্যবসা করতে হবে। There are no timing. It can be not doshta, it can be not 11, not 12, not 2. It's your business. So whatever you do, the third most important thing is job satisfaction. If there is no job satisfaction with what you do, then any long hours or hard work is very boring. GRC works very hard. Why? Because he loves his job. And so whatever business you pick or whatever you want to do, pick such a business. I didn't know leather. But if you ask me, Monzur, what do you want to, if you could start your life again, which business would you go into? I would go again into leather and shoes. Because I love leather. Why? Because no two leather is the same. It's a natural product. It's a byproduct of the meat industry. Textile, you buy textile, millions of yards, is exactly the same. In leather, you buy raw hides, you put it in the drum for processing. You give exactly the same recipe, the same chemical, everything. It comes out two different colors. It's a real pain in the leather industry. But it's very challenging, very creative. Shoes, you'll be shocked. Shoes, the leather shoe is getting out of date. How many of you wear leather shoes? It's all sneakers. Your age, my age, yes.
The kids are always.
Kids always sneakers. The upper is maybe of leather, the sole is sneaker. It's there. It'll be there. Nike rules the world. Reebok rules the world. Not Clarks, not Ferragamo. All these, he knows the name. They don't. So it's very creative. We have a product development center in Italy. Because in my line, Italy is number one. So, why I'm telling you this? Because I enjoy shoes, I enjoy leather. So if I work very long hours, it doesn't bore me. Fortunately, my son also likes leather and shoes. And he just graduated in 1990 from a very good business school, you may be knowing, Wharton Business School, University of Pennsylvania. And he was offered a very good job in the Wall Street. He was only 21 years old. I was there on the graduation day in 1990. I said, you have 1 week to enjoy with your friends. And 8th day I brought him back and put him in the factory. As a worker, not as director. Because if you do not know the job, you cannot earn the respect. of anybody in the factory. Just because you own a son, you come in, doesn't work. You must dirty your hands. So third, as I said, you must work hard and choose the right thing. And fourth, last, I won't bore you anymore, you should have a very understanding wife or a spouse.
Now they will their outfit.
And please, I repeat, again, there is no substitute for honesty. Please do not be dishonest. It will never get you anywhere. Whatever tax is due, you pay that tax. Whatever VAT is due, pay your duty. You earn less, but you sleep very well in the night. Your conscience is clear. Thank you very much.
The audience is now requested to kindly submit their questions to the moderator, Ms. Samira Saleh.
You will first. The first question that I have is, what were the biggest initial hurdles? What were the biggest initial hurdles in building your business, and how did you overcome them?
The biggest hurdle of any businessman. Fortunately, as I said, I had this French man and I was an agency, so luck favored me. In my days, there was no such thing as venture capital. So if you can raise about 10%, like occasionally I address the IBA in Dhaka University. And there are some entrepreneurs there. And they came and I introduced them to some venture capitalists. But you should have some capital. It depends on the size of the business. You must prepare your project profile, what you want to do. The latest I'm helping somebody, he was to do this corporate gifts. You know, you give gift during the Eid holidays, and things like that. So if you can somehow overcome the capital problem, maybe some loan from your friends and relatives, and then need some introduction through some venture capitalists. If you have the capital, then whatever you choose a subject or a commodity that interests you. Otherwise, that money may go waste, and then you will be in trouble, big financial trouble. Initially, do not take loan from the bank, because the bank will not give you. They'll ask for collateral, they'll ask for security. But there are SMEs. Even in Bangladesh Bank, there are venture capitalists, they give something, but it's very bureaucratic, very cumbersome, it's not easy. But that is, I think, is the biggest problem. Once you can solve the capital problem, how I don't know, it will depend from person to person. So try to sort the capital problem. Start in a small way, but dream big. You must think big. I want to be the number one. I want to be the number one. I want to be the number one. That should be your attitude.
Next.
Consider your major competitors when you started. How did you consider outplaying them?
Outplaying them, before I repeat, you can only beat them by, one important thing is good you mentioned. Please never compromise on quality. So whatever product you make, don't compromise on quality, even if that lowers your profit margin. If you try to cheat the consumer, he won't say anything to you. He won't put a claim on you, but he'll never come back to you. So never cheat a consumer or your client. consumer or a client. So quality is also very important. Find a reliable supplier, right, Karim?
Absolutely.
So he also needs a reliable supplier as you need a reliable buyer. So it's a two-way traffic.
Thank you so much, sir. That's very.
Or with your wife, of course. You try. But end of the day, you know that you're honest with each other. That's important. It is financial partnership breaks because of financial, what should I say, greed. The greed, please do not, you be a successful businessman, but please do not be greedy. How much money? Can you take the money to your grave? You can't. So earn the money in an honest way. You can't have 10 meals a day or 4 meals. You can only have 2 meals a day. So earn it honestly and curtail your greed. That's it.
Thank you, sir. And
As I said, most of the average employment, the person's tenure in my company is about quite high, 15 to 20 years. The simple reason first is salary. You have to pay the market salary. The market. If the market salary for a management trainee is 15,000, if you expect a good management trainee or a good officer, you have to pay the market price, right? And number two, everybody loves a tough administration. You be a tough administrator, but you must be fair. You are a tough administrator and then you do favoritism with Mr. X and you don't look after Mr. Y, then you're in trouble. Everybody is the same, irrespective whether he is from your district or your religion, or everybody is the same. So administration is fair administration. So you create why people love to join multinational company and not so much private company. Because multinational companies, there's a system, there's an employment policy, they are quite fair with their dealings. They have an air of professionalism. So this you have to bring in. But if they find that no, you are so and so, your nephew or your son is getting double promotion and you're not, then you don't expect that he'll stay with you. So there's a old saying that, if you pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys.
thank you so much, sir. And that were all.
And various seminars, Karim knows this very well, is your infrastructure. Your port, your roads. I mean, what is Dhaka Chittagong? What's the distance? Less than 300 miles? Almost. Or maybe 286 miles or something like that. It takes 1 full day. Then the congestion in the port.
In train, half the time you are not actually reaching towards Chittagong. You are going somewhere else. When you go to Akauda, then you start going towards Chittagong.
বহু বছর থেকে আছে লাকসাম দিয়ে it's a cord line which will reduce the distance
and then the Chittagong port. The traffic jam, you lose 3-4 hours. How do you expect foreign entrepreneurs to come here? And on the road they will spend 3-4 hours. You're not the only one. Vietnam is coming. I remember in 1990, we were the first one to start an export-oriented shoe factory. At that time, we were not the only one. There were about 3 or 4, maybe 4 export-oriented shoe factories. Vietnam in 1990 had only 2. Today, Vietnam has over 2,000 and we have hardly 40. Vietnam earns something like 28 to 30 billion dollars more than our garment export, and we have not even touched $1 billion. At the same time, we started at the same time, 1990. But why? Because land was very reasonable. You have to buy land. 70% of your project cost is land cost. So how do you expect to make money? So land has to be there. So economic zones are coming up. The utilities gas, there's no gas sometimes, most of the time. Then there is a power failure. So the government has to fix. So in short, the government has to create an enabling environment for the investments to grow. Otherwise it will not grow, number one. And the second is my favorite subject. There are millions of unemployed people, but very few employable people. I need skilled, semi-skilled. You'll be shocked if I tell you over 20,000 Indians and Sri Lankans work in Bangladesh. Over 20,000. And they remit officially something like $4 billion and unofficially another $4 billion. $8 billion goes out of the country for middle management. My biggest problem is middle management. Everybody comes out of business schools, want an air-conditioned office or an office. They will not dirty their hands. So I need people who will dirty their hands, will be on the factory floor. So middle management, line supervisor is my biggest problem. My problem is not at the top level, managers. I have enough managers. But my biggest problem is line supervisors, operators, maintenance people. So you need more vocational training institutes. South Africa, South Korea and Japan developed very fast. Why? Because, remember JS, because they built up the vocational institute first. They have this apprenticeship scheme. You must have the apprentice scheme that you have in Germany. These are not that I'm going discovering the wheel. It's all there out in the world. You just have to copy it.
Thank you, sir.
আমার একটা তো observation যে I wish we had Professor Monzur here.
Yeah.
The reason is, Sayyid Monzur Elahi was offered a job in academia and he decided to move to multinational and then become an entrepreneur. If you read the autobiography of Professor Monzur, his father sent him to London to get trained in
Leather.
Because his father set up the first tannery
That's
in
true.
East Pakistan.
Dhaka
Tannery. So he sent his son go and get training with one of the biggest leather companies, UK. So after getting trained for a few months, he was very unhappy because he wanted to pursue a career in the academia. And Dr. Kamal Hussain and Barrister Murshid were cousins. They were passing through London and then asked him why don't you apply to Cambridge. So from trying to become a leather technologist, returning to Dhaka to run the tannery, he decided to go to Cambridge and become academic. So we see totally reverse. Monzur Elahi,
Successful in their own country.
academia to industry, and Monzur from industry to academia. The question I wanted to ask is, first of all, about raw materials in your industry. You said that gradually leather-based shoe, footwear will disappear. That's the future.
It won't disappear, but the demand will go down.
Demand will go down. But there will be a niche market for fashion items based on leather. First of all, general availability of raw material within the country. And we always hear that we have one unique product, which is black Bengal gold, which is highly valued globally.
It was.
Is it still?
Let me explain.
Okay.
See, leather, guy who is in the garment business, you'll know, he'll bear me out. Leather like garment is very fashionable. You have to change with the fashion. Like garment, the shoes also has two distinct seasons. Autumn, winter, spring, summer. In autumn, winter, you have boots. I'm talking the Western world. Black color, heavy leather shoes to keep the cold out. Spring, summer is more sandals, more t-shirts, more cotton. So it's highly fashionable. The goat, coming to his question, GRC's question is that what Bengal black was very good if you make kid skin shoes. That means it is very soft, it stretches, and then in the night when you take it off, it comes back to its original size. But who decides this? That which leather should be used for autumn, winter, or spring, summer? Italy. There are studios in Italy, in Verona, where Romeo and Juliet's thing is there. It's of course a fiction. It's not true. And they do the designing. And they will say that next season, pink will be in color, fashion color. And then the other European countries, because Italians, maybe the pasta, what I don't know, very creative mind. In fashion, you go to Toyota Motor Company, the chief designer is an Italian, not Japanese. Giorgio Armani, the great designer, was a designer, chief designer of Christian Dior. So he left. So all the great designers are Italians. Italy is our father, literally, fashion. They found that this black goat skin is available where? India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And as I said before, greed, we three countries, we formed a cartel in the 70s and we kept on raising the price. The Italian designers got fed up. They said, okay, we'll teach you a lesson. They took the goat leather out of the fashion and replaced it with cow leather, which is very versatile. So now, as I said, that synthetic material has come back, replacing leather. But again, after 6 months, it's a cycle, business cycle. Leather will again come back. Why? Because the leather prices have crashed. So leather shoes will become cheaper than synthetic shoes. So again, it's a question of price. Fashion is there, but price is also very important. It's lovely to look at, but if you can't afford it, what's the point?
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Arthosuchak.
Shall I stand up? If I-
No.
Private university, probably you know this already. The students of this university, generally they are from Mofussil or district of backgrounds, facing the problem of poor schooling. There are many students here, you will find very talented, dedicated, all the qualities they have. But the problem is, they are very weak in English. So whenever a graduate from this university goes for a job, faces an interview, the first obstacle is he can't express himself properly. When the interviewer asks him in English, he becomes nervous. So my question is, say if a good deserving candidate from this university goes to one of your units for a job, and your interviewer is asking him or her in English, in spite of all qualities, if this difficulty is there, what will be your lesson from your side? Will you take him or turn him out back? Thank you, sir.
You can answer to that.
Okay, let me put it different way. If I find a chap who comes in for the interview, he's very savvy, he speaks beautiful English, very fluent, but he's dumb. Will I take him? No. So if I feel that he is feeling shy to express himself in English, I revert to Bangla. Most important thing when we see in an interview is the basic horse sense, common sense. Does he have a common sense? Because it takes, I can groom him into English very easy, but I can't groom him to be an intelligent person. If he's dumb, he's dumb. He can speak very good English, who cares? He won't be able to give any value addition to the company. What are we looking for? Value addition? So if I find that this fellow is very shallow, only speaks very good English, but he's dumb, he's not committed, I won't take it. But I'd much rather take somebody who's shy, but I know, we have ways to find out, as I'm sure you know, who's dumb and who's not so dumb. And then we find out, and then that's how we take it. It's not a question of how smart he is dressed. It's not important. I mean, my brothers always say that, remember that people will judge you by what you are, not how many clothes you wear, or what beautiful clothes you wear, or how many cars you have, or how many houses you have. So similarly over here, I will judge the person. It's very easy, we can make out. My hair is white not because of age, it's because of something I know. So we can make out who's intelligent, and if I find that he's intelligent, is sharp, then I speak to him in Bangla, and then slowly I tell him that if you want to be an export manager, my friend, in the evening you have to go to an English class and learning. Because in the export market, you go to Italy. I mean, my main market is Italy, okay? 3 times, 4 times a year you have to go. They don't speak Bangla, they speak English. So if you go and you can't communicate, what's the point of keeping you? So you are clever, you are intelligent, you are very tech savvy, you can pick up the languages, computer language. All you have to do is pick up the English. That is not a big problem.
You might have noticed just now, the girl, she read out all the questions, but questions were contributed by others. But they don't have the courage to...
না এটা তাদের বলা হয়েছে
বলা হয়েছিল।
Shamshad said
I
that
think more
all
discipline
written
organized.
questions should be submitted to her.
To be more
Now, given the
organized.
opportunity, they could have asked the question.
Future will do it. Continue the series.
It's okay.
The invention was spellbound.
No. Very surprisingly, আগে আমার export ধরেন 80% ছিল, locals এর 20% ছিল। এখন is 50-50. The local market আমাদের জন্য now is very interesting. The margins are better than export because export is the competition. I have competition from India, I have competition from China, I have competition from Vietnam. কিন্তু এইখানে আমার competition was as barter. And today, আমি যদি আমার export and local sale add করি, we are double the size of barter. We are beaten barter in this line. So, এখানে আমি কেন এটা বলছি, the reasonটা যে my local sales has had a fantastic growth. The shoe market locally grow করছে 25%. তো আমাদের দুটো সিস্টেম আছে বিক্রি করার, একটা হলো রিটেল যেটা আমাদের নিজস্ব দোকান, একটা হলো হোলসেল। বাটারে এক্স্যাক্টলি সেম সিস্টেম। আমি তো বাটা বলছি বিকজ বাটার সাথে আমাদের মোটামুটি একটা সিমিলারিটি আছে। এবং ওই হোলসেলাররা এখানে আসে, এসে ধরেন আপনার এলাকা হলো কিশোরগঞ্জ, আই নো ভেরি ওয়েল কিশোরগঞ্জে আমাদের 5-6টা ডিলার আছে, তারা এখান থেকে এসে নিয়ে যায়, এটা সিস্টেম এরকম। সেই ডিলার আবার কিছু তার প্রফিটটা অ্যাড করে সে তখন তার ছোট ছোট রিটেল দোকানগুলো যেগুলো আছে কিশোরগঞ্জ টাউনে সেখানে বিক্রি করে। এই হলো সিস্টেম। তো যে স্মল যে রিটেলার সে যদি এখানে আসে তাহলে তার পক্ষে অনেক কেনা খুব মুশকিল হয়ে যাবে। তাকে তখন ওই ভালো প্রাইস পেতে হলে তাকে এর একটা ডিলারশিপ নিতে হবে। সেটা আপনি সয়াবিন অয়েল হতে পারে, সেটা আপনি জুতা হতে পারে, এনিথিং। সো এটা আমাদের সিস্টেমই গ্রো করে গেছে যে ডিলারশিপ। সো ইফ ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু ডু ওয়েল, আপনি যদি এই লাইনে থাকতে চান, যে কোনো লাইন, বলছি না যে আপনাকে জুতার লাইনে থাকতে হবে, ইফ ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু বিল্ড আপ এ বিজনেস, ইউ স্টার্ট উইথ ডিলারশিপ। আপনি ডিলার হবেন, ডিলার থেকে আপনি একটা ক্যাপিটাল ফর্ম করবে, ক্যাপিটাল থেকে আপনি ডিলার থেকে আপনি রিটেলে যাবেন, অ্যান্ড ইভেনচুয়ালি আপনি ফ্যাক্টরি করবেন।